It's with great sadness that I briefly eulogize Rabbi Lamm in the process of recalling his visit to Emory University many years ago. Rabbi Lamm has been a teacher of mine. I was twice ordained by him, once as a rabbi and once as a rabbinical court judge. And I've been writing him letters and collecting responses from him for close to 30 years. Rabbi Lamm was so much integral to the community that the truth is that from the 1960s to 2010 could reasonably be called in the history of traditional life in America the Lamm years. He organized the community. He set the agenda for the community. He built the community, and it was a reflection of his values. Even the people who didn't agree with him responded to him, and he set the agenda. I want to speak about 4 different aspects of Rabbi Lamm to give people a sense of who he really was. One was his role in Yeshiva University. Another was his academic prowess. A third was his role as a religious leader. Finally, there are some brief reflections on my sense of him as a person. I want to start with the one that resonated most intensely with me as a law student. Rabbi Lamm was an excellent scholar. Starting with his groundbreaking work on confessions, which was cited by the Supreme Court in the famous Miranda decision and a few other times as well. Rabbi Lamm was a consistent, excellent, high-quality scholar whose work set the pace not just in one field, but in 2 or 3 different fields, from Jewish law to the study of Jewish mysticism, Hasidism, and many other fields. Rabbi Lamm was a fantastic scholar who thoughtfully examined new fields in groundbreaking ways. Furthermore, Rabbi Lamm was not interested in just being an administrator of Jewish institutions. He wanted to himself be an intellectual leader. Most university presidents, when they become president, they stop being a scholar. Not Rabbi Lamm. During his presidency at Yeshiva, he continued his pace of writing a book every 2 years. He never missed an opportunity to study deeply. And after you finished speaking to him about a topic, he always turned to you and said, "So what are you thinking about?" And when you were finished and you told him what you were thinking about, you would ask him, what is he thinking about? And he would share with you a scholarly agenda, like any scholar, as if he wasn't the CEO of a billion-dollar institution and the leader of a religious community. Rabbi Lamm was an excellent scholar. He was the president and Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshiva University for more than 30 years, president for 27, and an additional 10 more years as the religious head of the institution. Rabbi Soloveitchik's successor at many levels, and the only person who Rabbi Soloveitchik supervised for a PhD. Many of us at Yeshiva, I was a student there for 14 years, didn't appreciate how hard an institution it was to run. And the truth is that there were critics of Rabbi Lamm at Yeshiva throughout his presidency. But everybody looked back at Rabbi Lamm's retirement and they said to themselves, wow, we didn't appreciate how hard a job it was. And we recognized that the difficulties, to use the Greek mythological idea, that Atlas had in holding up the world have been amply demonstrated by the inability of the institution to run once he put the world down that he was holding up. With hindsight, Rabbi Lamm was the best president Yeshiva University had, and the grand religious visionary for more than 2 generations of modern Orthodox life. He built yeshiva into a fantastic juggernaut of scholarship. It's to his tribute that the finances were straightened out. It's to his tribute that the intellectual mission was clarified. It's to his tribute that the incredible growth in Torah institutions took place in and around his watch. It was called the Lamm years because he envisioned them, he implemented them, and he intellectually led them. Religiously, Rabbi Lamm was a moderate and a compromiser. And many times I heard him express this to me. He said, when you have two competing good ideas that are out there, what we really ought to do is find a way to meld them together in a dialectic tension that allows both ideas to be manifest, which Rabbi Lamm would call a dialectic synthesis. He didn't think that most complex situations in which there were two or three proposed solutions were best resolved through the binary adoption of one approach and not the other. He thought that the Jewish tradition was full of examples where we incessantly were manifest two conflicting ideas simultaneously, and that was a loving tribute to two excellent ideas. Rabbi Lamm believed that the truth resided in the shades of gray, or in the green, blue, orange, and purple that were manifest in the world, and he stayed away from black and white solutions to complicated problems. He thought black and white solutions to complicated problems were simplistic and undoubtedly not correct, or sometimes he would express it as manifestations of only one facet of the heavenly orchestra. He thought our mission was to be manifest many different facets of the heavenly orchestra, and that dialectic tension made Rabbi Lamm a religious moderate and a compromiser. In a world full of religious fanatics, Rabbi Lamm was a moderate and normal who sought to wove together ideas and ideals in ways that left the tent larger and more people comfortable. Personally, I didn't become aware of Rabbi Lamm's virtues until I left yeshiva and I started writing to him regularly. Rabbi Lamm was a good man and honest and thoughtful and personal and polite. He understood the needs to behave in a dignified way, and he understood the needs to show kindness all the time. He wasn't a typical university president, distant and aloof. He was a down-to-earth person, always happy to protect and help and be a friend. When my oldest son, Joshua, got married, Rabbi Lamm was already frail and struggling. And I invited him to the wedding, and he showed up with difficulty and a struggle. And I had told him the day before that he didn't need to show up if it was a struggle. And he smiled to me and said, it's never a struggle to participate in the joyous events of one's students. It's an honor and a privilege. Rabbi Lamm blessed us by his presence. It's well known that he had a budding career as a chemist. He was receiving a master's from Brooklyn Poly in the late 40s and was destined, they said, to work for the Israeli Atomic Energy Commission, whose first chief was his direct mentor. And I have no doubts that had Rabbi Lamm set his mind to it, he would have been the world's greatest physicist, leading Israel in a variety of novel directions. But our modern Orthodox community, and indeed our religious community throughout the United States, Jew and Gentile alike, was blessed by this moderate, normal, religious leader, capable of crafting compromise and capable of seeing the good in all of us and helping make sure that the better angels among men were manifest all the time. I frankly have no idea how we're going to make it after his parting. His passing is a devastating loss to us all. We recognize that the vision that he articulated is not the common one in our time, where everybody prides themselves on being more fanatical than the rest. Rabbi Lamm's blessing would be a blessing of moderation. I hope I can live up to that myself, and I hope the society that we're living in now continues that blessing of moderation. Tehei nishmatot tzrur b'beit HaChaim. Rabbi Lamm should live an eternal life among those who are cherished by the one above.